I once spent my summers working as a counselor at a camp for physically challenged children in rural Virginia. My first summer at the camp meant that I would naturally have much to learn. One such lesson involved my assignment to help Martin, one of the camp's summer regulars, take a walk on a hiking trail nearby. Martin had no use of his legs, and his arms was sometimes difficult to control as well. So hiking for him meant being pushed in a wheelchair. The camp was nestled within the Blue Ridge Mountains, and Martin had chosen a route that would take us up a steep trail. I dreaded the idea that I would have to push him all the way up the mountain. But it turned out that I would not need to do that. You see, when we approached the base of the steep hill, Martin threw himself out of the wheelchair and landed face first on the rocky path. I was mortified. I thought I had failed in my very first camp assignment, and that this camper was about to call me every vulgar name known to the English language. Instead of cursing me, though, as he was spread out on the pathway, Martin started laughing. As Vermonters, I am sure you are all familiar with the story of Jerry Greenfield and Ben Cohen. Jerry was a by-the-book kind of guy. He followed the rules, kept his room neat and tidy. He was cautious and entrepreneurial. He could think of the big picture, and he was determined to help people. He wanted to be a doctor, but no medical school would take him. Ben Cohen was a very different person. He didn't follow the rules. He didn't like to do his homework, and he was a slob. He was a risk taker and wanted to be a famous potter. His lack of structure and perseverance, though, made it difficult for him to maintain the discipline needed to be a working potter. The one thing they both had in common, though, is that they both liked to eat. When they met, they decided they would go into business together. Jerry did much of the business work, while Ben did a lot of the creative work. And together, they built one of the most iconic ice cream companies in the world, Ben and Jerry's. Their two different personalities complemented each other. What each person lacked in character was enhanced by the other partner. It is unlikely that the two could have accomplished alone what they did together. From these two disparate individuals emerged something greater and more wonderful than was ever present before. The merging of separate, imperfect parts into something that is greater and more beautiful is present throughout nature. We can see it in something as simple as a flower. One flower is often made of small petals, each one completely different and unique, but when combined together, makes a highly textured, colorful, and complex flower. It is the amalgamation of these imperfections that makes the flower so amazing. The same is true with human interactions. I want to talk to you today about a mysterious force that is active and present throughout our world and the universe. It's called emergence, and it affects everything. Emergence happens when two things are combined, and from that merging, a new thing comes about. The fascinating thing about emergence is that often something new is created that has properties completely unique to it. Now, if I only had something that I could demonstrate that for you, I do. Water. Water is an example of emergent substance. As you may know, water is composed of two hydrogen atoms that are bonded with one oxygen atom. Hydrogen, on its own, is a very flammable substance. A giant hydrogen air-filled balloon known as the Hindenburg became an enormous fireball after it was hit by lightning. Oxygen is also flammable. In fact, you can't have a fire without oxygen. Modern flame retardants work by robbing a fire of its oxygen source. How is it then that when oxygen and hydrogen are chemically combined, they produce a substance completely unlike either one? Water is used to put out fires. It has a certain cohesion that gives it a liquid property at low temperatures. More importantly, it is what supports all life on this planet. It's also a great mixing agent, and if you throw in some limestone, you get concrete and you can start making buildings from water. The mystery of emergence goes beyond material objects, however. Consider ant colonies. The ant brain is several million times smaller than our own. Yet they are capable of acting together in a collective society that works to feed, support, and defend its entire colony, a feat us humans have yet to learn. They can successfully hunt creatures many times their size and can even construct bridges with their bodies. But emergent properties in living beings do not require brains at all. The jellyfish has no such organ and yet can navigate ocean waters for food, react to changes in temperature and composition of the water. The very poisonous jellyfish, in fact known as the Portuguese man of war, is not actually a single organism. It's made up of separate jellyfish polyps, separate beings that come together as one. Emergence happens with human beings as well. Angry mobs, peaceful rallies, labor movements, flash mobs, all examples of groups who can do things not possible by individuals. The stock market, inflation, cultural memes demonstrate patterns of emergent behavior. Perhaps the best example of emergent behavior devised by humans is this right here, the computer. I am speaking from words written from a computer program. This one little device can predict the weather, play music, show me more cat videos than I care to see, and can help me stay connected to you. Computers can control home appliances, electrical grids, and even all the systems of the International Space Station. Yet the amazing thing about all these programs is that they are based on just two numbers. 1, 0. That's it. That's how emergence works. You start with at least two unique items and combine them in increasingly complex figurations until new things emerge from them. These new things can then become the foundation for even more emergence. That's the crazy thing about emergence. It doesn't just happen in a few places with a few things. It's happening everywhere with everything and everyone all the time. At this very moment, even as I am speaking, the universe is evolving, the world is changing, and new things and properties are emerging. You will not be the same person tomorrow that you are today. When you step out of this church, The world will not be the same one when you entered, though it may be hard to notice. This emergence is the basis of creativity that is happening to everything, everywhere, all at once. Did you see that? See how I did that? Yeah, good. That creativity, that constant renewal, that forever awakening of the universe is a great mystery, and to me, the very definition of the divine. But there is an even deeper mystery to emergence. Though it is the impetus for the creative introduction of new things, at the same time, it is also the source of unity. With each new development, things are combined and merged. Creativity both produces and integrates. It both defines and combines. It generates as well as it incorporates. What is even more intriguing is that we are each as much a part of the process as everything else. We are all unique and wonderful parts of universal creativity, and though we can each bring forth emergent possibilities, it is not through our individual efforts that true emergence takes place. When we work together to unite our colony in peace and prosperity, when we meld our hearts together to love all beings, when we join together to protect this planet and all its children, when we see ourselves as part of one emerging body of creation, then we begin to be part of the process of unity, and we come that much closer to divinity. Only as one do we come closer to God. What I didn't know my first summer at that camp with children with disabilities is that Martin, the one who threw himself onto the mountain path and then laughed, did that every year. It was a ritual for him. He would leap from his wheelchair and then, with the help of the camp counselors who happened to suddenly appear on the scene laughing at me, would crawl his way up to the top of the mountain. He did it every summer because it was the only time he knew he could get an entire group of people with him. We were behind him, literally. Every summer he would make it to the top and then cry out in tears of joy for having defeated the mountain once again, and every summer we wept with him. It was something that could only be experienced with the support and encouragement of everyone there, acting together for the betterment of all. In the name of that which you hold in your heart to be most sacred, may it be so.